Samsung S6 and the S6 Edge last year were near perfect, but of course, there were a few things that were still left. Do remember, in terms of design, they absolutely broke open the door. No phone from any other company came anywhere close. And while the Edge was more innovative, it still got treated as the side dish. This year, the tables have turned. The two phones with me and the S7 Edge is definitely the big guy. And while I like the taste of both, I just prefer the S7 Edge because it's got that much more and it's innovative to the point that I think the sides, the curve, the screen, that really is a piece of art, truly now becomes a weapon, a tool for all of us. Now, on the Edge, I'll show you a lot more later, but right now, let's take a look at these two stunning phones. Both the S7 and the S7 Edge are almost identical to their predecessors, but just like them, they are incredible to look at. Metal plus glass plus, of course, the curves. You can't go wrong with this combination, at least not when it comes to looks. I have just one complaint, of course, the glass back. Exactly the same problem we had the last time is again a problem this time, serious fingerprint magnets. Now, one feature which has absolutely bowled everyone over, including me, is the display on these phones. It doesn't get better than this on a smartphone. And I assure you, the beautiful pin-sharp contrast, rich colors, you actually have to see it to believe it, even in daylight. Now, even though the S7 Edge is slightly bigger, the difference in pixels per inch is barely noticeable. Now, with a super fast processor, fantastic amount of RAM, they are the snappiest Androids alive. Switching between apps, games, images, processing, opening as many apps as you liked, all worked without breaking a sweat. Now, of course, it runs Android 6.0 Marshmallow, but the TouchWiz UI on top lowers the sweetness level a little. Too many preloaded apps is the problem, and thankfully, there is an option though to go as close to stock Android as possible. My recommendation, do that. Now, the always-on display, another great addition to these newbies. The time, date, plus some notifications stay on in dim light and only consume a very small % of your battery. May I add, the notification LED light, which many phones and companies have got rid of, bring it back. It's an amazing and very useful touch. The optics, the camera on these two absolutely do justice to their new avatar. The auto shots in daylight are great, fantastic detail. Even in low light, shots are much better than most cameras we've ever tried on a smartphone. Now, these phones, the much better new versions, are accompanied by a much bigger battery with very quick charging. But even then, somehow, it only lasted us a day. It's good enough, but maybe some part into the night would have been nice. Now, coming to why these two phones are an absolute knockout, well, the parts that they didn't get last time is what they got right this time. Dustproof, waterproof. And remember, waterproofing a metal phone with the add-ons and the slots is not easy. But Samsung finally managed and got it right. Now let's do the test right here. Are they truly waterproof? Watch. I feel like I'm on a cookery show, except for the fact that I don't have very interesting things. I have just two jugs, one empty, one full. But the main ingredient is, of course, this phone. So, empty jug goes right in. Time now to pour some water. You have to remember, the phone actually has quite a few areas that are actually proper slots. Microphone, headphones, speakers, the micro SD slot, the SIM card slot, all could be the area where water can leak in. And the complete phone is submerged, seems to be doing well. Okay, I think that's time enough. I mean, leaving it in there makes no real difference. If the phone actually had to have a whole firework display, it would have happened by now. Perfect. Now, the other big addition, and I think it is the real big one for me, is they brought back the micro SD card slot. I can't believe that companies in this era think they can get away without putting one of those. Recommendation to all companies, get a micro SD slot. It doesn't matter how thin your phone is. Micro SD slot, very, very critical. Now let's get down to that one other thing that a lot of people have been speaking about, that the S7 Edge is a beautiful phone, but can't they add on far more things to that Edge? Well, Samsung was listening. They've done a lot more. Let's take a quick look. All the new additions to that curved side and what you can do to really get its full potential out.
On the S6 Edge, we could just assign our favorite contacts, but this time the S7 ramps up the Edge with 2 columns. It is joined by apps which are more frequently used. Then there is the Tasks Edge where we can add shortcuts. Also, there are panels for information like news, sports, weather and more, and we can customize this as well. And just like on the S6 Edge, on S7's Edge too, if we swipe our finger on it, we can see notifications and time.
So finally, the Sale Guru verdict. Now I'll make it really simple. Should you be buying these phones? Absolutely yes. But which one? S7, S7 Edge. Now they've priced the phones very aggressively and Samsung really is waking up to that fact. The S7 at about 48,000 rupees, S7 Edge at about 56,000 rupees are very compelling. But almost nothing between the two other than the Edge has the edge because of the Edge. So if you have 7,000-8,000 rupees more, there really is no way for you to be confused. It's the S7 Edge. Now, the S7 also a great phone. I think Samsung now really takes the bar much higher. I have a feeling in the flagship market, these two phones are absolute killers. It'll be very difficult for anybody now to compete against these two phones.